A score of years ago, in 2002, Microsoft officially introduced C# along with the first version of .NET framework. As of August 2022, the most recent stable version of the language is C# 10. Hi, I'm Mohammad Sahebhonar, a longtime C# user. I invite you to join me on this journey to review the evolution of C# during the past years. In this video, we will see how C# was born. So let's get started. Visual Studio 97 is the first version of Visual Studio released in 1997, and as we see contains several programming languages including Visual J++ version 1.1. But what is the relation between J++ and C#? Visual J++ was a programming platform used to develop Java-enabled applets and applications. Visual J++ was not a replacement for the Java language. Actually, the Visual J++ technology enhanced the Sun Microsystems-developed Java language. I have already installed Visual J++. Let's open it. I'm going to create a new project. Let's select Java Applet Wizard. We name this project Java App. The Java Virtual Machine is the only platform here. What is the Java Virtual Machine, or JVM for short? Java fundamentally borrowed and enhanced syntax elements from C++. However, what made Java different from C++ was the JVM. The JVM was an imaginary universal computer. In contrast to the C++ compiler, which compiled the code into a machine-dependent executable program, the Java compiler compiled the code into a special machine-independent module called the Java Virtual Machine's Bytecode. Computers could not read bytecode, but the Java-enabled web browsers, such as Microsoft's Internet Explorer version 3 at that time, translated these compiled bytecode into machine-specific instructions that particular computer could understand. Bytecode made it possible to create multi-platform Java programs. It sounds familiar to .NET developers, doesn't it? By the way, this is the Microsoft JVM. Although that's not related to our topic directly, I prefer to move on and create an applet. I think that would be interesting to see how technology evolves over the past years. I'm going to choose the second option. Visual J++ will create a web page as well as a standalone application. Let's click Next. 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 Another Next. Finish and OK. The wizard generates the code and places all needed files in the project. Let's run the project. The spinning globe appears in the window. As I told you, we need the third version of Microsoft Internet Explorer. Also, we could use the JView applet viewer to open the application. The JView was an MS-DOS program. We need to provide the address of the bytecode file. Here is the java app.class file. Let's take a look at the HTML file. This file contains HTML tags as well as executable content in the form of a Java applet. Alright, Visual Studio 6 is the second version of Visual Studio released in 1998 and has Visual J++ 6, which actually is version 2 and the third version of Visual J++, and also the last version of Visual J++. Visual J++ 6 has changed substantially from its previous version. We were able to create Windows and console Java applications as well as Java applets. Let's create a console application. The code editor has IntelliSense, and for overloaded methods, we can navigate to the method signature we want to reference. Also, the editor provides the on-the-fly compilation feature. But what happened to Visual J++? Microsoft hired Anders Hallsberg to work on Visual J++. However, Visual J++ applications were more efficient than Sun Java applications. Microsoft not only did not implement specific features, but also changed some features of the official Sun Java implementation. Sun initiated litigation against Microsoft for violating its Java license, and ultimately Microsoft agreed to cease and desist developing Visual J++. Anders Hallsberg and his team started developing a new language, an object-oriented version of C, and named it Cool, C-like object-oriented language, which was finally released as C#. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I started programming in Visual Basic. At that time, C++ was common. However, due to the manual memory management in C++, after a while I chose VB. This is one of the first apps I wrote. I was passionate about programming, so instead of using pen and paper to do my assignment, I used VB. That was fun. Alright, we reached the end of this video. Please let me know your thoughts and thank you for watching.